What's up, everyone? My name is Morgana, and I am a Christian creative. So, I'm actually originally from Houston, Texas. Whoop, whoop. And however, my parents became missionaries back in 1995, and we went to Brazil. So I actually grew up in Brazil, and I was actually down there between 1995 all the way up until all the way up till 2003. So once I got back, I went to college, which was Liberty University. However, Liberty University was too big for me, so I went to Bluefield College because I was homeschooled all my life, and I finished there. So after that, ended up working for the college, and then moving to Richmond, and that's where I reside in now. Some of the creative things that I do is I am a comedian and also an event hostess. So I actually go around and MC a lot of events, as well as just bring laughter to the world. So that's some of the things that I actually do with my creative time. And if I want to really get creative, then I actually develop actual events that people can enjoy at the same time as being able to have fun and also be Christian at the same time. So that's some of the creative things that I do. One of the recent events that I hosted this year was a women's event. It was called Empowering Your Inner Spirit. And so that event I wanted to bring to the table to a lot of the women in the community, just so they can find out who they are, find their gift, and also find their purpose in life. Because I just believe, as a single woman, it was for the single ladies. I just believe as a single woman, sometimes we're sitting here trying to figure out, when we're going to get married. Of course, we move over to the career part, but then, that's not always as satisfying. We want to move to the next step, which would be probably marriage. And so I wanted to encourage women to just during their singleness, find out literally who they are from within, find out who they are through God, and also find out their gift through God and find out their purpose through God as well. So you can have something to bring to the table when it is time for that marriage. But find out who you are first, of course. So I got into comedy through my friends. They all encouraged me to get on stage, go forward with it. They did it very strongly, but I won't forget, it was actually my godmother, Donna McCoy. She looked me in my eyes with tears and said, "You need to follow the purpose and plan that God has for you." And I think at that moment, I was like, whoa, like I really got to buckle down and like really do something about this, because, I just felt like through her, God was just speaking to me to really begin to use my my creativity for His platform. So, yeah, if that makes sense. Yeah. Right now, I just put up my website, and it's called laughterforthespirit.com. So definitely check me out there. I'm also on social media. Pretty much all my social media starts with Laughter for the Spirit. So if you find me on Instagram, that's exactly the name, Laughter for the Spirit. Facebook, Laughter for the Spirit. YouTube, Laughter for the Spirit. So if you are looking for a comedian, I would love to come to your church, love to come to any type of women's events that you might be having, a women's conference. That would be amazing for me to come out and just share with you guys my comedy and also my testimony. So if you are looking for me, once again, it is Laughter for the Inner Spirit. No, Laughter for the Spirit. It is Laughter for the Spirit. Okay, as far as negative feedback after any of my events, I try not to look at it as negative feedback. I look at it as, how to improve myself. Now, nobody has come and said, "You're just horrible. I hate you." no one has done that, but definitely have given me small tips as far as, hey, you definitely use this word a lot, or you do a lot of umming, or that, basically. So, yeah. So I have to, that's just something that I know that I would have to improve on. And then sometimes, I don't know, some things where in different cities or states or whatnot, some things are cool to say opposed to other cities and states. You know, some people might be a little bit more sensitive than others. So sometimes I try to watch it on that, but I do try to fill out the crowd before going out, and just try to see what they're like. Yeah. So my most memorable moment was my first comedy stand-up. I actually did it at a small, it's called Tuesday Versus. It's downtown Shockoe Bottom and Richmond, Virginia, actually. And so I was there, and my friends had came out. They pretty much packed out the house, I guess, as you would say. It's a small place anyways, but the fact that they came out to support me and literally gave me a standing ovation afterwards. And I was like, oh my gosh. So it was just like a blessing for my friends and family to actually be there. And that is when I realized, wow, I can really do this. Like, I can actually be a comedian, and I might just be funny. So, yeah. So some of my favorite comedians that I definitely look up to and that definitely inspire me are Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, Kevin Hart. I guess some of the women, gosh, I know some of the women, but it's really, I forget some of their names, which is really bad. So another one is Melissa McCarthy, and the other one is Rebel Wilson. Most of these women, I love the women and men. As far as stand-up, yes. On the stand-up side is Kevin Hart, Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer. And then on the movie side that I just think that are hilarious are Melissa McCarthy and Rebel Wilson. Yeah. I want to say this is an old school movie, and it has comedy in it, but it's also serious too. But that's Annie, the 1983 Annie, and Carol. I forget her last name. Oh my gosh! But anyways, Carol's in there, and she is hilarious. It's basically the foster mom of the movie, and she's a comedian, and so actually a comedian. So she's really funny. That's one of my favorite movies that I can watch over and over again and probably laugh at the same stupid jokes every time. The corny jokes. I don't want to say they're stupid. Corny. Yeah. So, but good ones. Stand up for any comedian. It would probably be Steve Harvey. Yeah. He's like an uncle. He calls himself the uncle. And so I think if I did stand up for him, Ricky Smiley as well. I like Ricky Smiley. But I think if I did stand up for him, he would critique me as well, but laugh too. I don't know if he'd do it in like a nice laugh or just be like, ugh. So yeah. Oh my gosh. I have definitely felt discouraged just during the whole process, because you want to make sure that you're doing what God wants you to do. But when things begin to line up and almost, I don't want to say it like this, but almost fell into my lap, I realized that I was in the right place. I was where God needed me to be at. So as far as like the comedy goes, it's just crazy how I was like, all right, God, if this is what you want me to do this year, then I'm going to do it. But I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to look up. I didn't know where to start at. And it was actually Culture New Norm that actually asked me to come out and perform at their event, at their comedy show event. And then some other ones, things started to just line up. My church started to hit me up to do things. There was another women's event that I went to and was doing comedy at. And so things were just hitting me back to back. My friend attached me to a comedy event in the community. I went to that one as well. And I was able to get in and do the comedy as well. So it was just crazy how things just started to come at me without me even doing anything. And so that's when I knew it was a God thing. It was him letting me know this it. I don't know what to tell you. So I was really excited when I found that out, and I was just like, okay, cool. But you know what, I even want to say, even after that, I was just kind of like, okay, well, I may not be funny to everybody. And I was worried about that. Am I going to be able to make anybody laugh at every event? So that was always my concern going into it. However, I realized that not everybody's going to laugh at my jokes. And that's fine. I'm not worried about the people who are not laughing at my jokes. I'm worried about the people who are laughing at my jokes. And so I just felt like I was like, worry about the people who laugh and don't worry about the people who are not. Okay. So in that way, I was able to see I might be able to touch somebody else, opposed to not every message is just for everyone. It might be for particular people. So, yeah. Yeah, I would say, just like I had said before, don't worry about who's not laughing. Worry about the people who are laughing, because that's probably the type of people that God wants to gear you toward. I would say we can X that out, but I would say, trust in him with the process, like literally fully trust in him with the process. Dedicate your life daily to him, because if not, you will get off track and think that this is not for you. So I would say definitely dedicate your everyday life over to him, so you know exactly what he needs from you on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. So you can stay creative. Oh my gosh, it is so important having sisterhood. One of the things that my parents definitely made sure is that we loved each other, we cared for each other, we supported each other, and that has actually carried on into our adult life. So anytime I do have events, my sisters are the first people there every time. It's like not even a question. Like, you need to be there. You know what I'm saying? And so, but that's just how we love each other. And so we give to each other, not wanting to, not looking for to receive anything back. And so it's so important to have that love and support when you're going through any type of storm, when you're going through just life, when you're trying to figure out the purpose and the plan that God has for you. Like, I feel like I've geared off track, and they have allowed me to get back on track, geared me back on track with God and my relationship and just life in general. So, having that support from your family is so important for your heart, your soul, and your life. So if you have sisters, stay in their life. I feel like in my past, I have always tried to find my happiness and who I actually am through relationships with men, And so that is definitely something that I had to overcome. And I didn't know at the time how to overcome it. I was just going from relationship to relationship to relationship to relationship to situationships to situationships to some friendships benefit. It was bad, And so I was trying to figure out how to really overcome that. I had to go down to the root of it. Where did it begin at? And find out why I started to feel that I needed to find almost like my happiness and who I am through them. And so it wasn't until I really started to sit down and begin to have very intimate devotions with like the Lord, making sure that it was not just a task to check off, but like something that I would look forward to each and every day. And it's not easy, trying to have devotions on a day-to-day basis all the time with your schedule, with your life, blah, 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 all those things. And so once I actually bunkered down, it was actually this year alone where I was trying to, last year, I was trying to find out, where am I going to go? And then my job shut down. And I was like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen to me? And so what ended up happening, I was just like, God, my life is literally in your hands. I know that you didn't want me to be at the job that I was at. I just didn't know how to depart myself from it. And so once that happened, I was like, you know what? This year is going to be my year in finding out who I am, finding out my gift, finding out my purpose. And it's no jokes or games anymore. Like literally buckling down and finding out what God really needed from me, and where if comedy was going to be where he needed me to be at as well, if that was the route that he wanted me to take as well. And so through comedy and me finding out that I really wanted to take it seriously, not only wanted to take the comedy seriously, but also finding out who I was, so I wouldn't, I didn't want to become a comedian and then be consumed by likes and events and people and fame and whatever the case is. I wanted to know who I am, who made me, deeply who I am inside, loving myself, being content with myself and everything. I wanted to know all about me, and I realized that I didn't know all about me. So I began to get into my word and started from the beginning and working my way through the Bible now, actually. And through that, I've been able to establish a deeper and more intimate relationship with Christ, and finding out who he really is, because before I was just like, yeah, Jesus died on the cross. He saved us for our sins. But I didn't really know why he died on the cross for us. What did he have to save us from? You know what I'm saying? And so it's just amazing through a lot of the stories, Abraham, Moses, Saul, David, and the Israelites, and how they overcame a lot of things. And just seeing their story allowed me to see my patterns in my life, and that I needed to do away with them, just like the Israelites had to do away with them when God was asking them to obey him. So I realized I had to begin to obey God. And so that's when I started to follow him, fast, pray, read the Bible, have longer devotions with him, and just finding out who he is overall. So, yeah, I would encourage women out there that might be dealing with the same situation as me. And women, just to be clear, I'm talking about men and sex, breaking that barrier in your life, finding out why you have to continue to do that in order to feel a fulfillment. What I found out that it's temporary. The enemy wants you to believe that, well, for one thing, sex is amazing, but when it's done with the person you're supposed to be one with, one of the things that I found out that I was still empty after the fact, and not really having a fulfillment afterwards. It was great during the process, but left me empty consistently after everything, and making me feel like I wasn't worthy, downing my value, not really knowing who I am, being confused. And of course, our God is a God of no confusion. And so when I began to, I would just encourage you to find the root of it, find the root of your sin, find the root of your pattern, why it began, and figure out how to begin to cut out those bad habits that are in your life. And pray for God to restore you completely. Surrender everything over to him. Literally surrender. It's not easy. That's why you have to go in with fasting, praying, reading your word, having devotions to find out more about him and how, because once you find out who you are through him, that's where the happiness is at. You know what I'm saying? Once you really find out who you are through God, that's where your value, that's where your happiness is at. That's where your contentment lays at. That's where you find out what a real relationship is. Because I thought, you know, I've seen my parents, they have a beautiful relationship. They've been married for almost 40 years, but I did not see the process that they had to get to that great relationship that they're at now. I just saw a great relationship and automatically thought that was gonna turn into a great relationship as soon as I started dating somebody. No, there's a process. If you're not willing to go through a process, then you're not willing to really get married. Okay? So I had to learn that there's a process, and there's a process with God as well. You have to go through the process with him. You have to go through the storm. You have to go through the healing. A lot of uncontrollable emotions that go inside of you through the healing process. You have to go through that so you can see the sunshine on the other end. So be willing to go through the process, accept the process, and stay strong during the process as well. Yeah. Look me up at Laughter for the Inner Spirit. I was like, Laughter for the Spirit. No, that's it. God bless you all. And I hope to see you at your church soon.
All right.
That's it. What's up, everyone? My name is Morgana, and I am a creative Christian, or Christian creative, creative Christian. Wait, cut that one out. Like, hey. Recording. And I am a Christian creator. No. I'm so bad with interviews. Just camera, I'm horrible. But anyways, whatever. I'm not gonna speak that into existence, Lord. I am amazing on camera. Okay. So you can chop that out. Hopefully that made sense too. If not, cut it up, chop it up, and make it sense. So if you want to hear more about my dating life, come see me when dating goes wrong, okay? Okay, see y'all later. Laughter for the inner spirit. No, laughter for the spirit. Laughter for the spirit. I made that up. That's the sad part. I made it up. I don't even know how to say it now. Woo! It's just rough out here in these streets. Single woman. Ladies, if you feel me, say amen. But there was one guy I went out on a date with, and he seemed like a great guy. Got there, everything was straight. You know, he's a big fella, you know. And so he was tall and everything. And I finally got up because from a distance he looked good. And then when I got up further, closer to him, I looked up at him because he was tall. And I said, oh my gosh, he only got one eye. I was like, oh my gosh. And so I was like, okay, so what we gonna do now, Jesus? I was like, you know, the person that I am, God made him, God made me too. So I'm gonna go on this date, right? And also get that free Miv, you know what I'm talking about? So anyways, I went on the date. We get in there and the waitress is about to take us back. He looks down at my feet and says, where the heels at? Where the heels at? Player, where's your eye at? Okay, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Okay, don't be worrying about what my feet look like. What about where's your eyeball at? Okay, looking like Fetty Wap out here, player. So that's one of my jokes that I always tell, and people be on the floor. I'm not saying it's bad not to have an eye. I apologize if the guy's watching right now. But my thing was, he came at me. You know what I'm saying? If he didn't come at me, I wouldn't have came at him. But he came at me. So, you know, you got to let him know. Okay, Richmond girls, holler at me. Richmond girls know what's up. Woo, not Richmond girls, holler at me. I'm just saying. Richmond girls know what's up. Anyways, the end.